I'm going to introduce our CEO and General Manager, Lisa Sedlar. Lisa joined the co-op in the fall of 2024, and I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that we were lucky enough to hire her. Lisa has brought thoughtful and strategic leadership to this co-op, as well as a really joyful spirit that I really appreciate. And so we're super grateful to have her at the helm. And so please join me and welcome Lisa Sedlar.
Hi everyone, it's a packed house tonight. Love this, there's so many people. I think we're in excess of 250 people at this event tonight. Yeah, like really, really awesome. Thank you for making time to come. I don't know about y'all, but I was a little bit choked up when Angela was, her prayer for one, and two, the salmon story really hit me. And then just being in the room with all of you, and I'll just be a little bit vulnerable for a moment, and then I'll go back to my Detroit self. So I moved here at age 59, a year and a half ago, approximately. I had been in Portland for over 20 years, where I had run my own business for 11 of those, and was a CEO for another grocery chain, and my daughter got married, and I'm kind of an I'm a full-on empty nester, and it was a big decision. I was like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to move to Bellingham. I had never been here before. And I said, it's going to depend on what it feels like when I step inside the stores. Because I've been in the grocery business forever, and I have a really good, first impression feel. And I stepped into the downtown store first, and I was so overcome with the founding essence. I know the downtown store isn't even the founding store location. It's a different location from where it used to be. But I literally could feel all of the founding energy that went into it, and I knew right away. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do next with my life. And so I've been here for a year and a half. And just one quick second, a little bit more about me so you know who I am. I studied agriculture at the University of Arizona. And then I became a chef. I went to culinary school in Chicago, and I did the chef circuit for quite a few years. I even got to cook with Julia Child for a short time, which was amazing. And I've been involved in food systems and food security throughout my career. So growing up in Detroit, my dad used to take me to the Eastern Market, which is Detroit's farmers market, and it's been around since the, 1840s. It's one of the oldest public markets in existence. And from, the age of 5 years old on, every Saturday, it was my dad and I at the market. And so from a really young age, I became involved in food systems, and it was really special. And when I got here, I was like, I wonder what the farmers market's like here. And so it was one of the first things I did. And of course, I fell in love with our farmers market, and I was lucky enough to be selected to join the board of the Bellingham Farmers Market. And I also have been involved in sustainability for a really long time and throughout my career. And I learned about sustainable connections when I first got here. And I thought, I want to find out what they're all about. And lucky me, I got selected to be on the board at Sustainable Connections. So I feel like I've really embedded myself in the community here, and I sold my house in Portland, and I purchased a house in the Sunnyland neighborhood. In fact, Jessica is my neighbor by one block. I walk past her house every night with my dog and give her a report on what time she went to bed. So I want to say thank you for the warm welcome that I've received being in Bellingham. It is truly a special place, and our co-ops are different and better than every other grocer, period. Hard stop. Yeah. Hang on. I scribbled some very formal notes here that you can see. So when people ask me what I do for a living, I tell them I'm a grocer. And other people might feel like that's not the fanciest job, or whatever they think about it. But what I think about it is I get to work with my head and my heart and my hands every single day. And that's such a gift. And at our co-op, I get to work with the most amazing people. So Stephanie's here tonight from our Chiefs Department downtown, or was here. I don't know if she still is. And what's so special about working in the grocery industry is that we get to participate in your daily celebrations. They might be as small as picking out a cheese for book club that night, or Dave and Megan, our produce managers, talking about what is peak season right now, or just having a conversation with your neighbor when you bump into each other in the aisle. And it's something that happens in our stores that I don't see happening in the other stores in town. So it's really, really special, and I just want to acknowledge our staff, because our staff, I firmly believe, are the best grocery professionals in all the land, and they have so much love and care for the work they do and for the community that they build with you. So shout out to our staff, please. I have one more thing to share with you before I get into the boring parts. If you think numbers are boring, maybe you don't. So Carl, where are you? Back here. Okay, Carl. So Carl, the thing that we rehearsed is a little bit later. This is just an acknowledgement about... Carl found in our archives, which are stored at Kentucky Street, this first gathering of the co-op members. And I want to read to you what it says. There's a couple things in here I want to read. One says, "News from the food co-op. We're getting it on." Literally, this, my hands, I'm going to put it here so my hand doesn't shake. "The Aquarian energy of the last day of 1970 got the first coat of paint on the walls. A wood stove has been installed, and John is working on the skylight. At the current rate of energy generation, we could conceivably be ready to open by January 15th. More likely February 1st, but no later than that." And then it goes into money, money, money. The perennial philosophy, problem, of course, is money. There is enough in the bank account to finish the renovation of the store and have about $400 left to purchase the initial inventory. That just slayed me. And it's so wonderful, because that's how this kind of thing starts, right? And then there's a meeting of the members. Wednesday evening, we plan to get together at Toad Hall. Raise your hand if you remember Toad Hall. So the entire membership is going to meet at Toad Hall. Some of the things we'll try to get done at the meeting are selection of a new board of directors, selection of a name for the store, unless we all agree that we simply want to call it the Bellingham Food Cooperative, and some decisions about operating procedures for the store. So this is our founding essence and energy, and some of that is here in the room today. I don't know if you can feel it, but I can, and it's really lovely. And that $400 is a good segue, because we're going to talk about financials for a minute. So here's a few highlights from 2025, and the short headline is we had a great year. We had 1,404 new members. And that was a 9.5% increase year over year. So that's pretty awesome. We have altogether 14,482 active members. And an active member is defined as someone who's shopped within the last 3 months. So we actually have way more than this, but it's just like that 3-month window. That's what that number is. We have 237 staff members. 195 are full-time. And the part-time positions are by choice, for the most part. So it's a great job for students who are also otherwise engaged in the world. And it's a great job for our full-time staff members. We increased our shopping trips, the number of times you all shop and I shop and our staff shops, by 6.25%. The amount of certified organic produce, this is huge right here. So 17,871,000 dollars of certified organic food was sold in our stores. Yeah, that's worth clapping for sure. And then our local sales of local products we define as Washington. My definition is the closer the better. And so we don't separate it out yet. It's a lot of back of the house kind of brain damage. So we just track it for Washington. And we sold $10 million, $663,000 of local food. Thank you for making that happen. So last year, you might remember me saying, if you were here, actually you probably don't remember, who would remember this? The grocery business is a penny business. For every dollar that comes through the register, we're kicking ass if we make 3 cents. That is like primo grocery performance, 3 to 4 cents for every dollar that comes through the register. This is the sales pie. Brittany is our graphic designer, and I tortured her into making this slide. And she made it local, which I thought was so sweet, that she took pictures of pies that were local. So the biggest slice of the sales pie, if you think of the pie as sales, and then we subtract things out from the sales to pay for them. So the biggest piece, almost 60%, is the cost of goods, the stuff on the shelves that we pay for. So we're going to separate that out. Bye-bye. The next biggest piece, as you could imagine, is staffing expenses. And that, oops, can you put it back for a second? 26%, that's what they call fully loaded, and that means that's with benefits. So 26.2%. Bye-bye. Operating expenses. These are things like rent, it's common area, it's supplies, packaging supplies. Utilities alone last year went up 18%. Insane. So operating expenses, 11%. Bye-bye. And then we have interest and taxes, boring, bye-bye. And what we have left is this tiny little slice of pie, which is 3%. So that's what we did last year. I'm going to go, we increased our wages somewhat, and we're really proud to be able to do that. We want our staff to be able to afford to live in Bellingham. So our minimum wage is $19.67 an hour, and then we added various steps so that you get more and more the longer you're here. And it's really a very rich and wonderful program. Great. We're not trying to maximize for the sake of Wall Street or faraway investors. Let's talk about the strategic plan progress that we made. So there's many stakeholders. The board leads the strategic plan process, but there are a lot of stakeholder groups that came together to give input into the strategic plan. And that included staff members, farmers, of course the board, etc., some of you. And so the board created this 5-year plan, and I'm just going to quickly give you the overview, because if I read all the fine print, you'll fall asleep. And it's on the table. Thank you. Cooperative ownership is the first goal. The second goal is strong local food systems. The third goal is exemplary workplace. The fourth is healthy food access. And the fifth is sustainable community. Those are pretty great goals. Thank you, board and community. I'm really proud of this plan. Okay, next slide. And this is the progress we made toward this in 2025. We paid a dividend. Hot dog. $218,000 we paid out. Some people have already asked me if we're going to pay one out this year. I don't know yet. It's something the board votes on a little bit later in the spring. So hopefully. We launched a pin pad donation program. Again, this was Carl's brainchild. And we've raised a lot of money due to your generosity at the pin pad. So thank you very, very much. $33,964 were raised for our community shopping days, and there were 12 different organizations, and if you want to know who they are, they're in the report on your table. We gathered for a 55th anniversary party. How many people went to the party? Oh, that's pretty darn good. It was so fun, you guys. There was like 800 people there. It was insanity. It was great. Harold was there doing his tie-dye. Thank you, Harold. And we're going to just watch a quick video that we put together in honor of our 55th, which took place last year.
Most big grocery stores don't care much about what you have to say for their grocery stores, right?
You have to go back to the beginning.
I moved out to Washington in 1971, got turned on to the co-op.
We went from 9 jobs to over 200 jobs.
Our shoppers are owners.
My mom on multiple occasions has, called and been like, hey, can you carry this thing?
And so they have very specific wants and needs.
Just the growth of the business, how many more people we served, how many more jobs we created, and kind of the quality of the jobs was a great thing.
El co-op fue mi primer cliente.
We originally started at like a 1 acre size, and now we're farming 22 acres.
El dinero hace que se quede aquí, que circule en la comunidad, ¿sí?
The co-op has grown with us in that. Back then, they were our most important customer, and they still are.
It's tough to fight big America and big politics and big global systems. The way that one can impact that directly is to disrupt it through your own individual actions. Supporting a local nonprofit like the food bank or a local business like the food co-op does have big impact.
To have a community that really listens, to have a management that's led by a team of board members that are from the community that they live in is really unique.
You can feel the goodness that comes from people who care about community and people who care about where and how their food was grown.
I feel good 55 years later being here and still being a part of this.
Really good.
I just want to say thanks to Dan Pearl. He does our content management for the organization and the marketing team as a whole. Like, such an amazing team to work with. What an honor for me to be able to work alongside them. So let's talk about strong local food systems. $257,000 supporting Bellingham Food Bank's local farmer purchases. So all that money that you gave at the registers went strictly to purchase local food from local farms. Super, super awesome. Mike, are you in the room? Mike Cohen? Maybe not. I was gonna have him stand up and take a bow, but we'll send that energy out to him in the Aquarian way. We donated $23,000 to 7 local farms through the Farm Fund. Pretty amazing. Product collaborations with local businesses. So we did a collab with Kolsch beer, and we named our beer Love Child, harkening back to the early times. Maybe there's some love children in this room, who knows? And we also did a collaboration with Tony's Coffee for our anniversary, and that was really lovely. We hosted a farmers market crop planning meeting. And if I could just pause to say how important this meeting is, because I just turned 60 in February, and I used to think, oh, 60, that's so far away, and now it's here. And the average age of the farmer in Washington is between 60 and 62 years old. And while it's not that old, relatively speaking, because we're going to live another 30 years, God willing, what it means is that in the next 5 to 15 years, our farmland is going to change hands. And if we don't have outlets for the farm products, those farms go away. And we don't want that. We want food sovereignty. We want to be able to feed ourselves from our community. So thank you, Farm Fund, for being so diligent and awesome. And then Farm Fund and the farmers that came together for the crop planning and our produce managers. We partnered with Sustainable Connections. Shout out to Sustainable Connections Eat Local First campaign and the Farm to Table Trails. I'm going to stop there and move to the next slide. Exemplary workplace. We finalized our union contract with Teamsters 231. We internally promoted 14 staff members. We didn't have very many open positions last year. The ones we did have, almost all went internal. So really great opportunities to grow with the co-op. We organized staff events again. Apparently staff events went away during COVID, and we said let's bring them back. So we went to a Bellingham Bells game, and I'm guessing you can imagine what happened. It rained. So not that many people came, but it was fun. I went and had a hot dog or two and took a picture with the mascot. Healthy food access. We gave out $737,000 in healthy food access discounts. This is SNAP, this is WIC. Yeah, exactly. During the government shutdown, not the partial one that we're experiencing now, but the previous one, when SNAP funding got completely cut off, we came together as an organization and said we have to help people who are food insecure. So we, within days, created a program called Lend a Hand and gave SNAP and WIC folks 25% off. And so lots of people use this. Almost 1,000 discounts were given out for this program. We launched a food security pilot program with Western. This is for kids who go to school, I shouldn't call them kids, for students who go to school and are food insecure. So that's been a really successful program. We increased our student discount from 5% to 10%. The Real Kids Show. So, Carl, this is the time to stand up.
The Real Food Show.
The Real Food Show, designed for kids to learn about healthy food, and Carl is the mastermind behind this. Exactly. Woo! Let's go, Bellingham. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate that. And let's talk about sustainability. So, you know, when you think about sustainability, I don't know about y'all, but I think about continual improvement. And Melissa Elkins, Melissa, will you step forward, please? Can you be acknowledged? Yay. Melissa will have been at the co-op for 30 years. In November or December? What was that? September. Oh, I can't hear. I'm turning into my mother. 30 years this year. How about that? And I've worked with sustainability folks for many, many years, and Melissa is the top of the top. She's so knowledgeable, she's so passionate, and she's doing such good work on behalf of our organization and the community. So she championed rolling out a durable utensil program. So we don't have plastic utensils, compostable or otherwise, they're gone. And you would think, yeah, thank you. You would think this would actually cost us more, but it saved us $10,000. Yeah. We diverted 85% of our waste from the landfill. Awesome. And that's through food recovery efforts. 106,000 pounds of food was donated for food recovery, which equates to 89,000 meals. We could maybe make a little less. That's the only opportunity there. So the Holly solar array, so Holly's the office across the street where Hammerhead Coffee is and where our offices are. You've maybe never been there. But that building generated 81% on-site of the electricity for that building. And we're looking to do more solar in the coming years. So in 2026, we're off to a really good start, thanks to you. We rolled out the Co-op Basics program in a new way to reduce prices on commodity items, that everyday items like canned beans and tuna and peanut butter and so on. Raise your hand if you've seen some of the Co-op Basics purple signs in the store. That's excellent. Keep your eye out for those, because those are the items that are the most affordable staple items that we use every day. We're working on a packaging and recycling partnership with an organization called D6. Please feel free to Google this. It is a closed-loop plastic recycling program. So the city of Bellingham doesn't take our plastic clamshells anymore. This is code for clamshell. Thank you. And this program takes our clamshells, pulverizes them into bits, and then repackage, like they remake them into plastic containers again and send them back to us. It's the first closed-loop recycling program I've ever seen, so that's coming. I'm going to stop now because there's more goodness. I have time to do the rest? Okay. Local. So local has become kind of commodified in the world around us, and I want to make sure that people understand why local is important. And we are working with a group of folks that we're going to redefine what local means in our community at the co-op. We're going to redefine how it looks in the stores. There'll be focus groups that we do around this. What does local mean to you, etc. So look for that. We did a staff climate survey. We're going to do more staff training. We're going to do more durables. We just rolled out soup bowls last week. Those went away during COVID. We striped the parking lot downtown to be one way. Bob Marshall, where are you? He had to leave early. He sent me an email along with a couple other of you saying the parking lot's a disaster, what can you do about it? So we're going to try this out and see how it goes. Okay. Q&A. Let's roll. Who's got questions? Yes. Yes.
Question about paying with, because I noticed the 3% profit margin.
Yes.
So like when I pay with my credit card,
Yes.
how, like, where does that fit in? I know it costs the co-op.
Yes.
And how much, like, are those kind of personal choices affecting the bottom line of the co-op?
Tell me your name.
I'm Jan.
Jan, pleasure to meet you. The question was credit card fees. When I pay with a credit card, where does that hit the co-op? And I think behind that is it better to not pay with a credit card? Yes, it's better to not pay. A debit card is better than a credit card. The fees are lower using debit than they are credit. Credit card rates double digit for years. It's nonstop. It's a total racket. So if you can pay in cash or you can pay in debit, great. We really appreciate it. Thank you for that question, Jan.
So how much for debit card?
I don't remember. Hey, Jenny, do you know the difference? Jenny's our finance director, by the way. She's remarkable. She just ran a 100-mile ultra marathon a couple weeks ago, and she's here to tell about it. Okay, scream real loud what the rates are for both.
We are lucky to work with NCG, who is the
Okay, so NCG is our mothership, National Cooperative Grocers, and they negotiate the credit card rates for us. Do you remember what they are?
It varies by Amex, Visa, MasterCard, but all that to say we check in twice a year to make sure we're at the lowest possible negotiated rate, and we have that big buying power for NCG. But if you pay with your debit card versus a credit card, it's almost 2% less. So
how much less? Oh, debit card is 2% less than credit card. So that's significant when I talk about a penny business. Great. Okay, I have to stop because we have children of the setting sun. And I just want to say thank you. I'm going to get back up here again and say it again, but thank you to all of you. You're what makes our co-op so special.